face on here. Okay, there we go. Good evening. How's everybody doing today? It's been a long time. I haven't had a live lesson since Saturday. So I'm back. I've been busy, but I wanted to keep my Wednesday, Thursday live schedule. I wanted to keep them as I always do. So I'm here. It's Wednesday night here in Japan. Technically, I guess it's Thursday. But welcome. We're going to be working on some advanced lessons. The last couple of lessons we focused on phrasal verbs. Sorry, not phrasal, grammar. But we're going to go back to phrasal verbs today. We're going to go actually advanced phrasal verbs. These are verbs that you definitely must know. They're going to be really, really useful to help your English fluency. So make sure you make some notes today, write them down, or, just you can rewatch this as many times as you want. It'd be a good idea to do that. All right, so as usual, I'm going to put my lesson onto the screen. I'm going to be giving you some example sentences as well for every phrasal verb. So let's get my lesson onto the screen. 1 second here. It's going to take me a second to get all these. There we go. All right, let's get back here. So today we're going to be doing advanced phrasal verbs. I just need to find my lesson. And there it is. I got it. So I'm going to put it onto the screen as always. And if you want a copy of this, just let me know. I can send you a copy. Do not be shy. Do not hesitate to ask. I can get you one of these anytime you want. Okay, here we go. There is today's lesson, phrasal verbs. And we're not going to go over the grammar today. We're going to go strictly into all of the phrasal verbs. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start by looking at the very first one here. And the first phrasal verb we have is work off. Work off. All right. So if you know the meaning of this, then leave it in the comment section. If you don't know the meaning, that's fine. What I will do is I'm going to be, giving you an example sentence. And when you look at the example sentence, hopefully that helps you to understand what it means. So what I'll do right now is I'll put my example sentence here for work off. So let me type it up here. Okay. And the example sentence for work off is right here. It'll be on the screen. She worked off her debt by doing extra shifts at the cafe. She worked off her debt by doing extra shifts at the cafe. All right, so debt is money that you owe to people. So she worked off her debt by doing extra shifts at the cafe. What do you guys think it means? What do you guys think this means? All right, by looking at this example sentence, so she worked off debt by doing extra shifts. That means that she's working extra. So maybe she has a set number of shifts she works. She's going to work more than normal. Why? She's trying to pay off her debt. So when you work off something, basically the meaning is you're trying to eliminate, you're trying to get rid of, and it can be debt, or it can be maybe weight or calories, right? So we use it for dieting as well. All right, so I'm going to put that example sentence on the screen here. Just bear with me while I put it in here. Okay, so we are going to be eliminating something. All right, we're eliminating something, especially weight or debt. And we're eliminating this through effort, right? So maybe if you're eliminating your weight, that means you're working out, you're jogging, you're exercising. If you're eliminating debt, that means you're doing something to earn more money so you can pay off your debt. All right. All right, Miranda, hello, how are you today? Yes, pay off or to manage. Yeah, so when you're talking about paying off something, a debt, work off, definitely that's what it means. But we can also mean it to talk about calories as well. And Coney, yes, how are you today? We have just started, yes. We've just started the first one right now. How are you, Coney? How are you, Miranda? Okay, so the first one, work off, means to eliminate, to pay off debt, or to eliminate any weight, right? I think during the holidays, especially during the winter holidays, Christmas holidays, New Year's holidays, a lot of people put on extra weight because we're at home, we're eating a lot. So after the holidays are done, we try to work off all of the extra calories that we ate. Connie, I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. All right. Let's go to the next one, which is bottle up. Bottle up. All right. And let's try to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can get this screen a little bit bigger for everyone so I can make everything on the screen. All right. I think that looks better. All right. So bottle up. Yeah, I'm doing well, Miranda. Thank you for asking. You're trying to be okay. You're trying to be okay. That doesn't sound too promising. Hopefully everything is okay for you. The weekend is coming, so hopefully that helps. Now, here's an example sentence for bottled up. For bottle up. So he bottled up his feelings about the breakup and didn't talk to anyone. All right, so he bottled up his feelings about the breakup and he didn't talk to anyone. All right, so what do you guys think this means, to bottle up? So there we go. There we go, Miranda. Nice. To bottle up means to restrain your emotions like anger and when you're upset, right? Yes, you are correct. So when you bottle up something, you're going to restrain, we're going to suppress, we're going to hide our emotions. That is correct. All right, so let's put that on the screen here. So basically, I'm going to suppress or I'm going to hide my emotions. Hold back. Yes, Coney. Perfect. Perfect. So again, the example sentence, he bottled up his feelings about the breakup and didn't talk to anyone. So it's almost like, if you have a bottle. Do I have a bottle here? It's not a normal bottle, but let's say this is a bottle. I put all the emotions inside. I close the bottle and that's it. It's gone. I'm not going to deal with these emotions anymore. All right. Great job. Great job. Let's look at number 3, which is crack down. Crack down. All right, so let's put this a little bit higher here. Okay, we're going to be looking at crackdown. And again, I'll give you an example sentence. And if you already know what it means, that's fine. You can always tell me what you think it means before I give you the example sentence. But here is an example sentence just in case you want one. It says, the police are starting to crack down on illegal parking in the city. The police are starting to crack down on illegal parking in the city. All right, so what does that mean? The police are starting to crack down on illegal parking in the city. Pwede you could arrest. Not so severe as arrest. We're not going to get that severe. You're on the right track, but it's not to arrest. And it can be not only the police, right? For example, it could be your boss. You know, you could say my boss has been cracking down on workers who come to work late. So here, Miranda, you've got like starting action towards something bad. Yes. It's usually for something bad. Sometimes it's not something bad. We just take action against something, right? So the technical definition for this would mean to, you're going to take severe measures against something or someone. All right, we're going to take severe measures against something or someone. So you're going to do something very severe. You're going to do something very strict against something or someone. It can be either or. Now, it could be arresting if that's the measure you're going to take, right? But it could be, again, it's not only for police. So let's say, my boss decided to crack down on employees who come to work late. So he said that any employee, any worker who comes to work late will lose 10% of their salary. All right, so that's very strict, very severe. All right, so the example here, the police are starting to crack down on illegal parking in the city. So maybe they're going to find the people who are parking illegally and tow the cars away, or maybe they'll give a very severe fine. Maybe it's like a $200, $300, $400 fine. All right, let's go to the next one. Zero in on. Zero in on. Okay, what does this mean, to zero in on? And I'm going to give you an example sentence here. All right, so here are the example sentences. The scientists zeroed in on the cause of the disease after months of research. All right, so what do you guys think? The scientists zeroed in on the cause of the disease after months of research. From this example sentence, what do you think it means? All right, so here we've got to scrutinize or paying attention to it. Yeah, I think the second part of your definition, Miranda, is perfect. You're gonna focus on something very closely. You're gonna be paying attention to something very, very closely. All right, so I would say it's that the paying attention part is really important, to focus closely on something. And we often use zero in on something to talk about that we're very close to finding the result, or we're very close to finding a solution. So we are zeroing in on a cure to the pandemic. Okay, zeroing in on, that means we're getting closer and closer. We're focusing on one thing. We're almost there. We're getting there. So here the scientists are zeroing in on the cause of the disease after months of research. So they're getting really close to finding the solution. And I'm going to add that part here. You know, getting close to finding a solution. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is phase out. Phase out. And let's give an example sentence here. For phase out, my example sentence will be this. The company decided to phase out the old software over the next year. The company decided to phase out the old software over the next year. What do you guys think this means? The company decided to phase out the old software over the next year. This happens a lot in business. Businesses will often phase out certain things. Okay, so it's actually going to be the opposite of this, Miranda. We're not going to be making it available. We're actually going to be making it not available. So it's actually the opposite. So we're going to be stopping something. We're not going to be, making something again, but we're not going to suddenly stop. Like let's say, okay, I'm selling this water right now, and then suddenly it's stopped. I'm not going to sell it anymore. It's going to be more gradual. Okay, things are more gradual. So I'm going to gradually stop using or providing something. Okay, so here in the example sentence, it says the company decided to phase out the old software. So that means we decided to stop using the old software over the next year. Okay, it could also mean you're not going to provide anything anymore. So let's say that the company decided to phase out customer service, customer support. That means they are no longer going to give customer support. Does that make sense? All right, so here you're going to be stopping it. You're not going to be providing something anymore. You're not going to be using something anymore, but you're going to do it slowly. You're going to gradually stop. Like I think in the US, like this is something I noticed the last time I was back in Los Angeles. I think most beverage companies, right? Most like the drink companies. Let's say we've got like here, this is in Japan. This is a 2-liter bottle of mineral water. Most people would buy like a 500 mils or a liter of mineral water, sorry. And in America, in LA, what I noticed is they started to phase out plastic bottles. So now when I was in LA, when I wanted bottled water, it always came in a aluminum tin, like a can. All right, so bottled water was no longer, well, it wasn't as easy to find in plastic bottles anymore. So they phased out plastic bottled water and they replaced it with the canned bottled water. Yeah, Miranda, you can phase out classes. Yeah. Yeah, that means you're slowly going to stop providing that class for the students. Yes, you are correct. You could do that. Okay, perfect. Good job. Good question, Miranda. Let's go to the next one, which is sift through. Sift through. So let's give an example sentence. All right, Miranda, perfect. Perfect. Let's look at this example sentence here for sift through. And I apologize if my connection is not great today. I've noticed that it's a little bit like lagging right now. Here's an example sentence for sift through. She had to sift through hundreds of emails to find the important one. She had to sift through hundreds of emails to find the important one. All right, so what do you guys think this means? Now, the verb sift, right? The verb sift has something has a different meaning, of course. But if you look at what sift means, you kind of will get an idea of what this phrasal verb or this idiom is. I want you to imagine you're cooking something. If you're going to bake a cake, a lot of people will have, of course, cake needs flour. Now, let's say the recipe says you need 2 cups of flour. So here, people would put 2 cups of flour into a bowl. But sometimes people want the cake to be very light. So they get a special tool, like a sieve. And it's basically this bowl with many small like holes in it. It's like a mesh bowl. And they put the flour in that, they shake it, and the flour goes through the holes, making sure there's no clumps of flour going in. So you're sifting the flour. You're sifting the flour, right? Now, think about long time ago when there was the gold rush. A lot of people were trying to find gold. They would go to mines, they would go to rivers, and they would scoop out all these rocks, and they would be looking for the gold within those rocks. Same thing. They would sift it. They'd put it into a special bowl with holes, and they'd sift it. And usually the gold flakes would go through, the rocks stay in the bowl. So that's called the act of sifting. And Miranda, yeah, so you're going to be picking out, know the meaning, but somehow do not manage to explain. Okay, I think the first part I like. You're going to pick out. You're going to be picking out something. But you're doing it because you really want to do something very thoroughly, right? You want to do something very thoroughly. It's not something very quickly. You're not gonna like quickly do something without thinking too much. You're gonna take a lot of time, a lot of effort to do something completely and thoroughly. So in this example sentence, it says she had to sift through hundreds of emails to find the important one. So that means she's going to go through, she's going to examine every email and then find the important one. So it's almost like that sift. It goes in here and all the, you're trying to get all the bad emails out and you're stuck with the last one. So like choosing the desirable one, right? Exactly. You're choosing the one that you want. So, but the action of sifting through means that you're going to be examining something very carefully. You're going to be examining something very thoroughly, very carefully. All right, so I'll be examining something very carefully. Okay. Good job. All right, let's look at the next one. Hammer out. Hammer out. So a hammer is a tool, a construction tool that we use to hit a nail into wood. But here we're not talking about construction because we're using hammer plus out here. So the example sentence is they spent hours trying to hammer out a deal that worked for both sides. They spent hours trying to hammer out a deal that worked for both sides. All right, so they spent hours. Okay, figure out, okay, on the right track. It's not completely figure out. Figure out is more solve. And you're on, that is the right track. You're just a little bit more there. So a lot of times hammer out is used during contract negotiations. So for example, if you've got a person, the company and the employee, company and the union, they're trying to make a contract. So we try to hammer out a contract. Right? We spent hours hammering out the contract. So basically what you're doing is you're going to be working very hard to try to find an agreement or a solution. Okay, so you're right there, Coney. You're trying to figure out something, but we also want the nuance that we're working very hard to do it. All right, so if I said, oh, we came to an agreement, it doesn't tell me that I worked hard. But if I said, oh, we hammered out an agreement, that means we worked very hard to make this agreement. And Coney, yeah, find an agreement for both things, and you do it through hard work. Sometimes you can make an agreement, and it's very easy. But with hammer out, it means I'm working hard to get to that agreement. Okay, and let's look at the next one now. Bank on. All right, so I'm going to put an example sentence on the screen here for you. All right, this one here, it says, you can bank on her to get the job done well and on time. You can bank on her to get the job done well and on time. So do we always have to get to an agreement or also a solution in general? We have to get to a result. We have to get to a result. So Miranda, can I hammer out how to learn English? Yeah, you can do it in another. It doesn't have to be about an agreement or a contract. Let's say, for example, if I said this sentence, let's make an example sentence here. Let's see. Let's put it right here. I could say this sentence here. I need to hammer out my homework before I can go to the party. All right. So there is some type of solution, some type of result. Hammer out something means I need to complete it. So here I need to finish my homework before I can go to the party. And to finish my homework, I must work very hard to do it. I must work really, really hard, finish the homework, then I can go to the party. Here's another example. Let's say, here's another example. I'm going to hammer out a workout before going home. I'm going to hammer out a workout before going home. So I'm going to complete my workout, my exercise workout, before I go home. So you are working hard to complete something. It could be an agreement or a solution if it's a contract, or it could just mean some type of result. So to finish something. Does that make sense, Coney and Miranda? Yeah, achieve something with hard work. Yes, very good. Perfect. Coney, does that help as well for you? Let me know if you need another example, Coney, and I'll write up another example for you. And the last one here, oh, perfect, Coney, nice. You can bank on her to get the job done well and on time. I do believe, Miranda, you already answered that. You can rely on someone. You can count on someone. Okay. You can rely on someone. You can count on someone. That is correct. You can depend on them. Perfect. All right, so depend or to rely on someone. Let's say, here's one where it's more of an agreement, Coney. Let's say this is really common, especially if you watch the news a lot. You know, the current situation of news, you know, we're always dealing with a lot of unrest. So let's put this as an example. The leaders of the various Middle Eastern countries are trying to hammer out a peace agreement. Okay. Hopefully that helps as well. You're working hard to get to some success, to some agreement again, some result. You're working hard to finish your homework, working hard to complete something before you go to another action. To bank on means you're depending on someone or you're relying on someone. Right? Now, the next one here is chip away at. Chip away at. All right, let's look right here. My example sentence for chip away at. All right, little by little, he chipped away at the rock until he created a beautiful sculpture. All right, what do you guys think that means? If you're chipping away at something, you're very welcome, Coney, by the way. Or what do you guys think this means? Work hard. Okay, working hard is good. Working hard is good. There's one more kind of thing we need to say here, though. Working hard is really good, but there has to be a little bit more here with this. All right. So basically, if you're chipping away here, the physical way where I chip away at a rock until I can create a beautiful sculpture. So basically, the rock is going to break, and then I'm forming a beautiful sculpture. So chip away at, we have this kind of nuance that we're making something weaker. We're making something smaller, we're reducing something. All right, so let's see here. I believe let's just put the example. Well, let me put the definition in here. I'll come right back to you, Coney, 1 second. To gradually reduce or weaken something. Okay, it's not really quickly. Again, it's gradual in nature. We're gradually reducing something. So here, the stone is gradually reduced into a sculpture. Okay, let's say we're having a sporting event like basketball, and one team is winning by 30 points. The losing team slowly starts to come back. They're reducing the lead. So they're chipping away at the lead. They're reducing it gradually. So Coney, you've got the professor, and okay, the professor and us were hammering out our schedule for the, yeah, that works. He hammered out a schedule. Yeah, that's good, Coney. And then chip away at means to gradually reduce something. Okay, let's look at number 10, the last one here. Plug away, plug away. The example sentence I'll give you for plug away. Let's see, for example sentence here, she chipped away at all the difficulties to become successful. She chipped away at, yeah, the nuance here is correct. We need to fix the grammar a little bit. I would say, Miranda, she chipped away at all of her obstacles to become successful. Okay, so she chipped away at all of her obstacles to become successful. All right, so I put that into the comment section here. She chipped away at all of her obstacles to become successful. And for the plug away, my example is going to be right here. One sec, let me just, I need to plug my computer in here. There we go. I'm back. I didn't want to lose you guys. My computer was almost dead. Coney, all your fears will chip away. You're about to go perform on stage. Yeah, I would add a little bit more to that sentence. Yeah, all your fears will chip away once you get on stage. Yeah, that works. And then plug away. My example sentence here was, despite the difficulties, she continued to plug away at her studies until she graduated. Where would you put the at? So if you're gonna, so here I'm chipping away at the obstacles, but here the fears will chip away. Here the fear is the object that's being chipped away, so we don't need the at there. So Miranda, for the plug away, not give up, do something, keep doing something. Yeah, you're on the right track. Right, that's perfect. Right, so to plug away at something is exactly what you're saying. It means to continue to do something even when it's difficult. All right, so you're going to continue working hard on something even though it's difficult. So despite the difficulties, you continue to work hard. All right, good job. Good job, Miranda, for that one. I want to give you another example sentence for this. Here's another example for plug away. Yeah, maybe I'm talking to my friend and I say to my friend, you know, I know you think it's hard, but just keep your head down and plug away. I got another sort of idiom or phrasal verb in there. Keep your head down. Okay. Now, keep your head up means don't feel bad. Don't feel like bad about something. Don't feel depressed. Keep your head down. It has a different meaning. Keep your head down means keep your head down because focus on the work. Focus on the work. Keep your head down. Focus on the work. Plug away. Yeah. Keep doing something. Keep working hard, even if it's difficult. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to put all of the phrasal verbs onto the screen here for you. That way we have an idea when we do the last part here. Okay, so just give me a second while I make a banner with all of these phrasal verbs. In the meantime, if you have any questions about any of these, you're still confused about some of these, just let me know and we can figure it out together. Okay. One second while I get it all onto the screen, and then we can get on with one second. I need to fix it here. Okay, there we go. Let's put these onto the screen. So all the phrasal verbs that we did today are right here. So work off, bottle up, crack down on, zero in on, phase out, hammer out, bank on, chip away at, and plug away. And I've got a question first. Abdullah, hi, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Good to talk with you. Yeah, Coney, yeah, I do hear these a lot. I do hear these a lot. I hear them a lot in different ways. Like chip away at. I'm a big sports person. I love watching and playing sports. So I'll often hear, you know, oh, the team is they just need to chip away at the lead, right? Plug away if something's hard. You know, I just need to plug away at it. You know, I'm banking on you to get this job done. That will be used a lot at business. You know, your boss will say that to you. So let's go through all of these. Like work off. I use these a lot. You know, I need to work off my debt. You know, I need to work off the calories. Most men like to bottle up their emotions, right? We always say that. Crack down on, we often use for police. You know, the police decided to crack down on jaywalking, right? So they're going to try to take severe measures against that. Scientists, you know, we're going to zero in on a cure, right? Phase out. We hear this all the time. Businesses will often phase out services or products. Sift through. I use this a lot, you know, especially with emails. I need to sift through all the emails. Hammer out. Yeah, all of these are really, really useful. I try not to just include phrasal verbs or idioms just because they're difficult. I only want to put the ones that I actually use or that I actually, hear people using. And this is going to be used in the US and Canada. But Coney, one thing is going to be, I guarantee you now, now that you've heard all 10 and we've gone over all 10, you're going to start hearing it a lot. Like if you're watching TV dramas, lawyer dramas or any type of dramas, TV shows, the news, you're going to hear these words a lot. So that's good news. All right. So bank on, depend or rely on something, chip away, reduce something. And last one was plug away, do something despite difficulties. So the best way to make sure we understand these fully is we should do a fill in the blank exercise. All right, so what we're going to do here, all of the phrasal verbs, your job is to choose the correct phrasal verb for this sentence. Coney, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad that there's a lot of new vocabulary for you. I think that's really important. And it makes me happy to hear that you like it. All right, so let's make this sentence a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. Okay, I think that's big enough. The detective was able to something the key piece of evidence after weeks of investigation. The detective was able to something the key piece of evidence after weeks of investigation. So which phrasal verb would you use? And for the first part, for the first like 5 or 6, I'm going to keep the banner at the bottom. That way you can choose which phrasal verb to use. But eventually I'm going to remove that. And then after that, you'll have to try to remember where you have to remember it. All right, so we've got hammer out from Miranda. So you're going to hammer out an agreement, hammer out some homework, hammer out some activity. But here, key piece of evidence. Key piece of evidence. Okay, that's really important here. This word here, key piece of evidence, is important. It's a noun. So we don't hammer out evidence. We're not going to plug away at see it there. I could plug away at the case. I'm going to keep plugging away until I figure it out. All right. So the detective was able to sift through. Okay, Miranda, Coney, you both put sift through. So here, sift through, you're on the right track, but sift through means you need to sift through all of the evidence to find the key piece. So you have a lot of evidence. You put it into the special mesh strainer, and we're sifting all the evidence that's not important comes out. Key one is left. So this is a little different. Sift through would only be the detective had to sift through all of the evidence to find the key piece. Okay, I want you to imagine now. Now this is weeks of investigation, right? This detective is investigating this case for weeks. There's so much evidence, so much evidence. Slowly, he's moving all the evidence out. He's narrowing it down to get to one key piece of evidence. There you go, Coney. Perfect. You're going to zero in on. You're going to zero in on. And I want you to, here's a great way to kind of look at this. I want you to imagine, okay? Coney, Miranda, anybody who's watching on the replay as well, I want you to imagine, okay? You're looking at something. You're looking at a field. And in the field, there is a rabbit. But you are standing far away. You're standing, let's say, 100 meters away. You're looking at this field. You're looking everywhere, and you can't find the rabbit. And you're looking, and then you get a telescope. You get a telescope, and finally you can see the rabbit. You've zeroed in on the rabbit. You're going to focus closely on one thing. Perfect. Focus closely on something. Excellent, Coney. The detective was able to zero in on the key piece of evidence after weeks of investigation. That's what you thought from the beginning. Yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, so I could actually include sift through. Or I could say after weeks of sifting through evidence, the detective was able to zero in on the key piece. All right, after weeks of investigation and sifting through all of the evidence, the detective was able to zero in on, narrow down, focus on a key piece of evidence. All right, good job. Okay, zero in on. The detective was able to zero in on the key piece of evidence after weeks of investigation. All right, excellent. Let's move to number 2. All right, so we got some difficult vocabulary in number 2. Number 2, and even the fill in the blank sentences I've purposely chosen some difficult vocabulary just so everybody can improve their advanced vocabulary. Not only phrasal verbs, but some advanced vocabulary as well. So we've got despite the constant setbacks. Okay. Despite the constant means continuous. Setback means something that causes a problem, causes a delay. You are set back. It's an issue. So even though I have all of these issues or problems, she continued to something at her dissertation until it was finally complete. So dissertation, what does that mean? What is a dissertation? So you do already have an answer here. Miranda's got an answer here. Despite the constant setback, she continued to plug away at her dissertation until it was finally complete. Correct answer, Miranda. Correct answer. And Tanya Elizabeth. Yes, a dissertation is a thesis. It's a thesis. And they are different. Technically, a dissertation and thesis are different things, but basically they are research papers. Research papers that you have to do part of your undergraduate studies. Okay. And the main difference between a thesis and a dissertation Generally, a dissertation is done for undergraduate. So in your first 4 years of university, a bachelor's degree, you would write a dissertation. A thesis is done usually for your master's degree, which is the next level. But yeah, basically it's like an essay, like a research paper. And yeah, the correct answer is perfect here, Miranda. Plug away. Despite the constant setbacks, she continued to plug away at her dissertation until it was finally complete. Perfect. Go to number 3. I have to make number 3 a little smaller. It's can't see it all on the screen. Okay. So Miranda, you have a question here. You're saying to zero in on means you're going to focus on something to solve it, to manage it. Yes. Yeah. So you're zeroing in on something means you are trying to find, you're focusing on something to find the solution. And Coney, yes, she continued to work hard at her dissertation. Yeah. Even though she was difficult, even though she had setbacks and problems, she continued to do it. She didn't give up. So number 3, I've actually given you the answer. The answer is right here, bottling up. So let's shift. And how would you complete this sentence? I've already given you the answer. I put the blank space in the wrong area. Bottling up his emotions for so long, he decided to see a therapist to help him. So this is going to be a little bit different. You're not going to choose the phrasal verb because I've already got the phrasal verb in the sentence. I accidentally put the blank in the wrong spot. But nevertheless, it's still going to be a challenge. So, Coney, you've got one here. Handle. Yeah, after bottling up, handle his feelings. Good. I mean, the opposite of bottling something, you could unbottle it, to unbottle. So that would work, but I don't like that sentence. Bottle and unbottle. No, Miranda, it's breaking up for me too. Let me try something here. I don't know why it's breaking up so much. Let me see. I do have some things running in the background. So I am going to get rid of those things. I'm going to close all those windows. All right, should help, I think. How is that now? Is it a little bit better? Let me know if it keeps breaking up. I do still have one window open, which I'm running something for work. I need to run this program for work, and I don't want to close it, but if I have to, I will. Let me know if I'm still breaking up, please. He helped him release his feelings. Good. That's good too, Coney. Go through his feelings. That's good. Another one that I would say here as well is deal with. Deal with. That's another idiom that we didn't go over today, or another phrasal verb. After bottling up his emotions for so long, he decided to see a therapist to help him deal with his feelings. Talk about his feelings. Technically, the opposite of bottling up would be to unbottle. To unbottle his feelings. Okay, so number 3 was little off tangent. I gave you the answer by accident, but we still had to figure out one of the blanks. So hopefully this helps as well. Let's go to number 4. Ooh. It looks like I'm still breaking up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to close that window. Okay, I closed it, so it should be okay. The new management decided to something the outdated policies over the next fiscal year. What do you guys think this one means? All right, we've got Coney with phase out. That is correct. The new management decided to phase out the outdated policies over the next fiscal year. Perfect. The new management decided to phase out the outdated policies over the next fiscal year. So they're going to get rid of it. They're gradually going to get rid of these old, outdated policies. All right, excellent. Good job, Coney. Let's go to number 5. During the merger negotiations, both companies had to a complex agreement that satisfied all parties. Okay, a merger is when two companies, company A, company B, they join each other. Okay, so a merger is when two companies join. And can you give me another example for phase out? Yeah, no problem. I can do that. Let's put it as a banner here. Okay, so here's one for phase out, Coney. The car company is planning to phase out the car by 2026. The car company is planning to phase out the car by 2026. So they're going to gradually stop making this car. And during the merger negotiations, both companies had to hammer out a complex agreement that satisfied all parties. Hammer out. Perfect. Okay, let's go to number 6. Number 6. What do you guys think the answer is for? All right, so the government has vowed to something tax evasion with stricter regulations and penalties. The government has vowed. Vowed means they've promised. They've promised. Let's put our phrasal verbs up here. The government has promised to something tax evasion with stricter regulations and penalties. Tax evasion is when you don't pay your tax. You escape, you run away from paying your tax. All right, so the government has vowed to something tax evasion with stricter regulations and penalties. What do you guys think the answer for this is? Coney, perfect. Crack down on. Excellent. The government has vowed to crack down on tax evasion with stricter regulations and penalties. Well done, Coney. Nice job. All right, let's move to number 7. Before making a decision, the team needed to something all the data and reports from the past year. What do you guys think this means? Yes, Coney, perfect. The government has vowed to crack down on tax evasion with stricter regulations and penalties. Perfect. And then your answer here, before making a decision, the team needed to, I know it's just a spelling mistake, so don't worry. Sift through the data and reports from the past year. Perfect. Perfect. So when you have a lot of things to look through, you're going to sift through it, right? So you need to evaluate, examine many things, like a lot of data. We sift through it. Excellent. What about look over? Yeah, that works. Yeah. The only difference here, sift through has the feeling that you're examining it more carefully. There more detail is happening with sift through. But look over would also be okay. All right, what about number 8 here? Number 8. You can always something Sarah to come up with creative solutions to problems. You can always something Sarah to come up with creative solutions to problems. Miranda, bank on. Yes, that is correct. You can always bank on Sarah. Now, another one that another perfect idiom that you could use, same meaning as bank on, is you could say count on. Okay, same meaning. You can always count on Sarah to come up with creative solutions problem. You can always bank on Sarah. Both are perfect. Your internet was gone. Yeah, I was wondering where you were gone, but yeah, my internet's weird today too. It's been really laggy all day today. I don't know why. Welcome back, Miranda. So count on is another one here that you could use. It has the same meaning as bank on. Okay, same meaning as bank on. All right, we got two more. Number 9, after indulging during the holidays, he decided to something the extra calories by jogging every morning. And Coney, I like it. You can always rely on, bank on, count on, depend on, trust Sarah to come up with creative solutions to problems. Excellent. After indulging during the holidays, indulging. That indulging means you do something extra, right? And indulging is usually used to talk about food. So you eat more than normally. So you're going to allow yourself to enjoy something more than normal. Okay, so you're going to allow yourself to enjoy something more than normal. And yes, Miranda, work off. Coney, yes, work off. So if you're indulging during the holidays, he decided to work off the extra calories by jogging every morning. Perfect. All right, and the last one here. The sculptor something at the massive stone block until it resembled a majestic eagle. Massive means very big. Stone block until it resembled, looked like. Okay, so massive means huge. Resemble means looked like. Yeah, I would go here with Miranda's answer. Chipped away at. Chipped away at. The sculptor chipped away at the massive stone block until it resembled a majestic eagle. Plug away is more the total project. But here it's an actual physical block. And we're chip, 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 chip. You're making it smaller. And it's going to look like a majestic, a beautiful eagle. So the sculptor chipped away at the massive stone block until it resembled a majestic eagle. Does that make sense, Coney? All right, good. Nice, 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 nice. I like it. All right, so 10. These are really, I think so far of all of the phrasal verbs I've done, these have probably been the most difficult. These have probably been the most difficult. But they are, as I said, they're really, really useful. So it is important that we try to remember them. We try to use them more specifically. Start using them in our sentences. Let me just put it back off onto the screen here. There we go. So work off is really useful. You're going to reduce something, either debt or calories. Bottle up, keep your emotions. You hide your emotions, don't share them. Crack down on. You're going to start enforcing something stricter policies on something. Zero in on, focus on something so there's a result. Phase out, slowly stop providing something. Hammer out means to work really hard to achieve a result. Bank on, trust someone, rely on someone. Chip away means to slowly break something until it's much smaller. And then plug away just means to keep doing something. You don't give up, even if it's difficult. All right, I like the fish emoji there. Even though on my screen, it's weird. On my computer, it says fish orange wide eyes. But I've got my phone running as well because I know my emojis don't show up on my computer for some reason, but I can see it on my phone. It's a very cute fish. And thank you for the nice comment. They're tough. These are tough idioms, or sorry, phrasal verbs, but they're really useful. So practice them. And if you want extra practice, anybody who's watching this and you want extra practice, especially if one or two of these are difficult, make a sentence and leave it in the comment section. Whether it's now or on the replay or later, you can always put it in the comment section, and I'll check it and I'll let you know if it's correct. So yes, if you want extra practice, definitely do that. I will be doing another live lesson tomorrow. I haven't decided what to do. So why don't I ask you guys, do you want another phrasal verbs lesson like this? Or would you want something more grammar specific? So I teach you grammar, then I give you a bunch of situations, then you have to make a sentence using that grammar. Which would you prefer? You see this emoji, Coney, I can see on my computer as well. Just some of them. I don't know why I can't see on my computer. So this one, it's got like the pink dude and the green dude. One's laughing so much they're crying. The other one's laughing. The fish, for some reason, I can't see it on my computer, but I see it right here on my phone. All right. Any final questions? Also, any thoughts on tomorrow's lesson? Phrasal verbs, idioms, or a grammar lesson? And grammar doesn't mean we're going to be covering grammar. My grammar lessons mean we're going to learn how to use the word despite. I'll teach you how to use it grammatically, and then we're going to just go into situations. So this is happening. What would you say? Anything useful? Okay. Modal verbs for future. Okay. That's also, it's very useful. All right, Cody, done and done. That's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll work on modal verbs that we use in the future. All right, guys. Any questions about any of these vocabulary words that we used today? Tomorrow's lesson, by the way, will be a little bit earlier. I'll probably get home at about 10:30 tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. Japan time. So it'll be about an hour and 15 minutes earlier. So I'll probably start the lesson like at 10:45. So it should be like an hour earlier, hour and 10 minutes earlier. So just make note of that. Today's lesson was an hour later. Tomorrow's will be an hour earlier than today. All right. If there are no questions, that's great. That means you guys understand everything. That makes me happy. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Great job. Really, really impressed with all of your sentences and how quick you guys understood all of these. Tokyo time tomorrow will be 10:45 p.m. lesson. 10:45 p.m. lesson. Today's lesson was at 11:55 p.m. I did start a little late though. Yeah, so it's going to be 10:45 p.m. Japan Standard Time. And just for your reference, right now it's 1:30 a.m. 1:30 a.m. Thursday. So technically we're going to have the lesson today. All right, Miranda, you're very welcome, Miranda. Good job. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Anybody watching on the replay, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson as well. Hope you guys learned something. All right, guys. Until the next lesson, which is going to be tomorrow. I'll see you then. See ya.